Cheers, up, guys. T3 Media.
Through the media.
D ha hot D, not a hot dog, but a hot D. Na, na, na. Hey, welcome to T3 Media's entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans. I'm your host, Nixon, and with me, as always, is Chris Fagan.
You got nervous when you had to wing it with the hot D theme. She was like, I don't know, am I gonna say hot D or am I gonna say hot dog? I don't know. But guys, welcome back to another week. This is I don't know if I'm gonna continue the Monday the rundown rush for Mondays. It's kind of hard to do it on a Monday. So thinking just a recap. We'll just call this the recap. We're just a rundown for the latest episode of the House of Dragon. But we're just going to recap. We're going to break down everything that we saw. And so joining me as always for anything and everything, the expert of the hot D is the one and only Nixon, the navigator. What's up, Nix?
Hey, wow, what an episode last night. Something to really unpack.
It was. Yeah, everybody was like so hitting me up and complaining like, "What? Screw this guy! Screw this whole episode and everything like that." It was triggering. A lot of you people were getting triggered a lot on it. So we're gonna break it all down. So right off the bat, guys, yeah. So if you're joining us live, or if you catch this later, just hit us up in the comment section and let us know your thoughts on it on everything that you thought about Driftwood. So Let's get right into Driftwood. I got everything set up, I think. Nope, I'm gonna have to go back and pull it all together. But I'll get that all set up, guys. But Driftwood was a crazy episode. A lot happened after this was the second episode after the 10-year time jump, and we're already getting into another one. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I like the episode overall. It was I don't know how to coin it yet. It was very Game of Thrones-ish, like a lot of manipulations and stuff happening. But at the same time, the cringe factor was, you couldn't deny it. So we'll get into that. What about you? Where did you land on the whole hot D-ness?
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely, there was levels of Game of Thrones levels in that episode, with the whole family dynamic, the betrayal, the treason, and then it went a lot of cringy for me. I had to pull a Sarah Catherine and just look the other way. I'm so glad that episode was so dark that I could not see what was really going on.
I mean, I saw that you mentioned that on social media, how dark it was. It was kind of like, it reminded me of that one Game of Thrones episode where it wasn't lit up at all, and a lot of people complained about it. What was that episode called?
The Long Night.
Yeah, I mean, it was called The Long Night, so it's like what did you guys expect, right? It was
Yeah, if there wasn't all that fire at the end of that episode, we literally would have seen nothing in that Game of Thrones episode. And This one, when I sent the actual stills of how it was filmed, it was like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, it was so well lit. Like, Oh, that's what we were supposed to see? Yeah, like that. Like, it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. But
yeah, I mean, it looks like to me somebody turned up the brightness maybe of that picture. Like, maybe that is a screenshot, or maybe that's a capture from set, or maybe it's something from set. But if you look at the background, I don't know. It feels like to me somebody turned up the brightness.
I really, it was a day shoot, and they used a night filter on the camera, and that's why it's so dark.
So to get into it, let's talk about what happened overall in this episode. Like, when it started off, we started off with the funeral, correct?
Yeah, with the funeral, and how people are in mourning, and I thought it was kind of sweet that Viserys, the younger of Rhaenyra's kids, is like, I have every right to be mourning as well. Like, I just lost Sir Harwin.
Yeah,
daddy.
But the princess couldn't allow him to say it was almost as if the queen could read his lips and see what he was saying or hear or overhear what they were talking about. Like I'm mourning too, who is obviously my real father, and I want to mourn him. I should be being given condolences as well. It's like no, like we have to do that in private. Do not do that here. You're gonna mess everything up. You keep your fucking mouth shut, kid. That's kind
Yeah,
of how she kind of reacted to that.
the queen definitely caught on, and I think it was really cute how when the cousins just held each other's hands because they realized all three of them are mourning together.
Mm-hmm. And
And then
yeah, that was a good scene.
yeah,
When the cousins, because they didn't know at first, they didn't know how to talk to each other, and then it was and the way she reached out, it was that was a touching moment. It made me think about something that happened at the very end of the episode as well, but we're going to get that into that later. But the whole situation with the funeral, um, I thought that was a long scene. Like that whole scene, like it was. I was about to say drag, but that's not the right word for it. It was very long scene as if, and I know it wasn't done in one shot. There were cuts, but us staying on that outside, that was like not, what's the word for it? Is that a wake? Is that the when all the family and friends get together to talk and to because they already started the episode when they dropped the body off into the sea
yeah,
because they the Valerians are about the sea, right? Is that what it was, or is it Targaryens?
it's the Valerians because that's their customs
Yeah,
to send the body out to the sea.
and then everybody stayed outside to talk and to and you heard people giving their condolences. I'm sorry for your loss and stuff like that. But and then the king, I saw that he was fun. It was cool that he was trying to use it as an opportunity to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
Use that tragedy. But Damien was like, nah. He
So
seemed so fucking off the whole time, like he didn't give a shit.
that's what I have in my notes because he laughed during the services. So you already see signs of Daemon going mad because when a Targaryen's born, the gods flip a coin. So Daemon is going mad after he's not mourning. It's just getting to him.
Everything that's been going on. Uh,
Yeah. Which,
I understood that the queen's father got called back in. I guess he's the most qualified to be the hand of the king. But the way he was replaced, I know it's been 10 years, but still, that I mean, you accused him of giving advice that only benefited him. You even pawned your daughter off onto me, and it worked so well. And now she's my queen. So what's done is done. But
mhm.
why go back? I would never have gone. That's like going back to an abusive like ex or something like that, or going back to a job that totally treated you like crap, and they're paying you even less, and you're still gonna go back because, well, I guess what? Because there's certain situations why you have to go back, but in this situation, you're the king. There
She
was
literally
no other hand that he could have hired.
Yeah, she could have picked anybody else. In fact, she could have even put Larius, the cripple finger. Sorry, excuse me, but that's what they call him
Mm.
in the book. They could have put him as Hand of the King, as opposed to going backwards. Her going backwards kind of puts a target on her head. Only in my opinion, not because I read the books.
Right.
It, it just
But it was his choice. It was the king's choice to pull him back in, right? Ultimately, wasn't it? I'm sure she
and
suggested it.
that just goes a little deeper into where Rhaenyra says, now they see you for what you really are in the scuffle,
Yeah,
which we'll touch on later.
yeah. So the hand is back now. Now we have the uncle here, like he's mourning the loss of his daughter in the beginning. It looked like the queen, like if I can go back to, I don't know if you can see him. There's the guy you were talking about a minute ago. It looked like when the queen saw Mr. Finger here, right there, like she's almost like nervous to be around him, like the way she's nervous that he's gonna call for that favor. Like what did she say? He's like he's puffing his chest up. He's all proud of himself that now that he has his new title and everything, and she's
He's
worried
proud.
about. He's very
It's very,
proud.
yeah. That's why she tells him on the boat to be discreet. Like even if when she repays him, it'll be discreet.
In secret, yeah.
Yeah.
But we have the father of the princess who died, and it's funny because in a previous episode he and Damon were scheming, and his overall plot is to get his wife back into the to become the heir that he feels like she was due, and that vote to not give it to her because she was a woman, just to see the current king make his daughter the next heir, so she will be the first female, leader. It's really like this is really pissing him off, and the fact that now he's like his little plans to get first he put his daughter off to the king, like, why don't you marry my daughter? That didn't work. Then her daughter marrying Damon. I guess that's one step closer, but the step that really helped was when his son, married. I always say it wrong.
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra, and like so, because his ultimate plan is just to get his family's name. Because he mentioned that in this episode. What was that? That like people don't remember blood; they only remember name, history.
Yeah. And see, you touched on a really good point because Damon is in Pentos right now, which is south of the seas where the Valyrians are.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Valyrians and Damon make like a peace, that just gives the Valyrians more control of the seas and the ports. So that just gives them more, like, they'll own more land. So that's like beneficial for them
to position themselves in more powerful real estate level. That's a real estate play, right? That's always Lex Luthor's plots. Whenever any other old Superman movies, it's always about land and real estate. If you really go back and watch the original Superman movies, even the Superman Return one, it's always about land with Lex Luthor. It was weird, but yeah, and that's ultimately his whole thing is about being in a position of power now, and especially in this episode. Between last episode to this episode, all of his ultimate plays to position himself were taken out between two episodes. It's kind of crazy, but we'll shuffle through that a little later. And I can't remember what scene this was when Rhaenyra is in. I know this is before the fight, but I can't call where this is taking place. Do you?
That's after the fight when she sends her boys away and she's getting stitched up.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's an early scene right there. This is right here before the fight was about to take place. The one interesting thing that so not to get ahead of ourselves. So later on into the episode, and I'll go back later. So one of the queen's sons who was getting picked on a lot throughout the episode, didn't have his dragon yet, decides to make a move. He made a power play, man. He went out and he went for the big dog. What's the dragon's called? Vagar?
Yeah, and see, her mother, Lena, before she passed away, told her daughter that if she wanted a dragon, she would have to get it herself. Like, she would have to claim it. And so when Vagar was available, she should have claimed Vagar instead of whatever was trying to hatch. And that's what Aemon did. And so he didn't technically
he technically didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I mean it was a dick move, but you kind of understood it, especially when his own big brother was teasing him and being and letting his cousins who they both equally don't respect because they know that they're not full blood family. They're what they call, they're bastards, and that irked him. He's like, dude, not only is my own brother he's laughing at me, doesn't have my back, thinks everything's a damn joke, but my bastard cousins are he's laughing at me with them. That sucks. And so I don't blame him for doing what he did, or that the power play that he. But I was shocked. I was like, "Holy shit, he's going for the big dog," and it worked out for him. That was crazy. What do you think about
Yeah,
how that all worked out?
and well, dragons don't choose. Well, you don't choose a dragon. Dragons choose you, and so Vagar chose him. He was. They were meant to be. So He didn't steal her. That's
Yeah,
his
yeah,
dragon.
the dragon is the ultimate the one that makes the choice. If the dragon didn't want him, he would have said so. And I'm sure Vagar would have allowed one of the daughters but obviously Vagar probably respected the balls, the guts on him. He saw something in him. And
Yep.
this episode, when it got to that fight, when he finally came back, the second he had the dragon, his confidence, his cockiness, his inner Joffrey kicked in. That's who he turned into instantly.
Yeah.
He instantly became Joffrey.
Mm.
He was like instantly like, now I'm gonna dish out to you or give back to you all the shit that you've given me. It's coming now. It's been prepared. Like to their face. He didn't the only thing that I respect him over Joffrey. Well, no, Joffrey told you to your face. He fucked with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He smack talk to his
yeah.
uncle, to everyone, like to their face.
Yeah, to their face. So, and that was pretty much the move when he said what he said about like that's my mother's dragon, like that, like it belongs to me. Well, you should have went for it when you had the chance. I went for it. The dragon accepted it. It's mine now. You can't do nothing about it. And just like you brought up, that's the ultimate truth. You can't argue that. But of course, that fight broke out, and at first it looked like this dude was like Michael Myers. He had one kid in a chokehold. He sucker punching the other one. I mean, he was handling everybody. Then the numbers
Yep.
games got to him, and they jumped him. it
Yep.
was it was pretty funny. And then but so I just thought, okay, you're just gonna get your shit. You're gonna still have your dragon, but you're gonna get your ass kicked. That's just a family fight. But the second he picked that rock up, like dude, now okay, dude, now you're gonna kill somebody. That's a big fucking rock. You know that look in his eye. He did hit somebody with the rock, right? Across the face, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's how Jace.
Got the
No,
bloody no broken nose, right?
Luke got his nose broken.
Yeah. And so that was a serious moment. So I'm not surprised that the blades came out. And when one brother saw that the other was ready to fight with the blade, like the distraction with the pocket sand to the eyes, that's
Yeah.
a classic move. Pocket sand. That's what you got to. But you have to yell that when you throw it, like wow, pocket sand, and that get that distraction. And then wow, I didn't know that. I said I don't know anything about the book, so I didn't know that he was going to lose that eye.
Oh,
And
I totally knew, and I just didn't know it was gonna happen this fast.
yeah, but when it got down to the conversation, that long scene in the I don't know, so that's the big room, the ballroom, whatever it was.
Well, last week on our recap, I
Hmm.
kind of alluded that this was gonna happen because I told y'all to pay attention to Helena, the sister that they think is dumb,
Hmm.
because she said the last leg has no rings at all. He'll have to close one eye.
So she's a seer. She can see. She's not dumb. She has sight. She.
They in the Targaryens, they're known as dream watchers,
Hmm.
and so Aegon the Conqueror, uh the king before Viserys, the other Aegon in Game of Thrones, not Jon Snow, but the other
Hmm.
Aegon, the Grand Maester, they
Hmm.
were all dream watchers, and so their dreams, their visions, essentially come true.
We're
And
talking.
in
And we're
but
talking about the king and the queen's daughter, right? Yeah.
yes, yeah.
They were
So
picking on her. I forgot they have two boys and a girl. Okay.
they were picking on her. They were calling her stupid. They were like, "She's nothing like us." In this episode,
Hmm.
she says, "Hand turns loom, weave in green and black.
Hmm.
Dragons of flesh, weaving thread." And so she's either talking about the beginning of the Dance of the Dragons.
Well, the weaving green and black. I mean, you got right here in this picture.
Gonna let Alicent do whatever she was about to do.
Oh no, go repeat that again because the screen kind of froze for a second. Go start that over.
Um, in this scene right here,
Mm-hmm.
Alicent pulls out the knife and has it to Rhaenyra. Sir Kristen, he says something like stand your guard to all his guards because he was about to let Alicent do whatever she was going to do to Rey.
Let me double check the stream for a second because it's still recording, but I don't know why it says like the stream might have started over, but no, it didn't. I think we're still good.
We're good on
Okay, yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, okay, it's just a glitch on my side. Yeah, we're still live, but yeah, and so that moment where the queen, when she finally lunges, when she takes the knife and comes after Rhaenyra, and I felt like she allowed that knife to cut her on purpose. You think she guided that knife for that cut? I thought that if so, I thought that was a good play. Like just seeing her come at her with the knife is one thing, but seeing her cut the princess, that's a different visual. And everybody's
That
already calling her mad for it.
that's a good theory. I didn't think about it like that because it was one foul swoop. Like I watched it twice.
It came down, and I mean, overall, this is how I saw it. The princess is a tough cookie. I'm sorry, the queen. We saw how she handled herself in fights and in the wild and things like that. If anybody's gonna win in a fight, my money is on the princess. She would kick the queen's ass any day of the week. That's why I felt like that whole conversation, like they see you for what you really are, and I thought that was because when I first watched it, when she said that, I was like, is she gonna allow that knife to like go into her shoulder blade or something like that to give them a visual, and then the arm cut happened. I feel like she guided that knife on purpose because seeing her come at the princess can kick the queen's ass any day of the week, but I think she needed that audience to really see something. So she
Yeah.
allowed the knife to go into her flesh like that. That's just my theory. That's my theory on it. Just based on how skilled the princess is as a fighter.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, absolutely.
But it got bad. Here it is right here. This scene, this moment right here, when all the guards. So you have a very weird moment because these guards are sworn to protect the royal family, and it's like instantly it's like nothing but confusion. So all they did was they just stopped other guards from interfering. Like, who are you going to try to get control of or grab or maybe attack? Are you going after the princess? If you can't do that, I got to stop you. Are you going after the queen? You definitely can't do that. I have to stop you. So it was like the guards really focused on stopping themselves first, but the danger was still in play. That was crazy. It was like no guard would allow another guard to put their hands on the queen or the princess, which meant the queen and the princess could have killed each other.
Yeah.
So what did you think about that? Did you notice that, like that circle that they made right there?
That's what I'm saying. I noticed that and I was wondering why that was such. And so the second time I watched it, that's when I heard Sir Kristen say to the guards, like, stand your guard. And I was like, oh, this guy is like about to incite the chaos. Like he was gonna, I think he believed in his queen to just let her do destruction. I don't think he believed in the princess because the queen was armed.
Yeah, but we're also talking about two equal forms of power. You got okay, yeah, she's just the princess. Princess is outranked by the queen, but she is also
Yeah.
the heir. So it's
Yeah,
like
but
it's like every. That's why I'm saying talking about how much of it is so much chaos and confusion. Who outranks who in this moment? Who are you supposed to be sworn? If the king were to accidentally die, the princess is the one who gets the throne. But while the king is still alive, that is the queen. The queen, that is his wife. Like she even mentioned that when before the fight broke out, and they asked the children calmly. Like all that yelling was kind of funny, because you're never gonna get a straight story because the boy who got his eye, was it Amon? What was his name? When he got his eye cut, he's gonna spin it as the victim 100%. He's not gonna. Notice that there was not really a mention that much about how he went and snuck and got his their dead mother's dragon, and obviously what instigated the fight ultimately. But no one's gonna care because your son is cut. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alicent really surprised me when she was like, an eye for an eye.
Yeah, she blatantly said it like that. Oh, yeah, you can choose which eye you're gonna take. Go for it. I don't care. Go get it. Yeah, go for it. It's like because she was trying to put the king in an awkward position. Like, she cut your son. So, yeah, but she's also my daughter. This is technically to the king. It's like my daughter and my son got my daughter and my grandson and my son got into a fight.
Yeah,
I mean. So it's like, I mean, if I punish my grandson, it's insulting to the heir that I named, and when she asked her son about the whole why did this fight really happen, and the discussion about them being bastards was brought up. You could see it in the queen's eyes. She was looking right at the king. Okay, this is it. This little bubble that you created. Let's try to pop it right now. You know that they're not really full blooded, like, so them cutting your son's eye is not justified. We need to do like, she was going for it. She was really really going for it. But the king stood his ground in his delusion. The
yeah, he still didn't believe his own son when he was like, we can tell by looking at them. Still
Yeah,
didn't believe his own son.
I like the way I love the fact that he threw his big brother under the bus. Oh, I heard. Where'd you hear this from? Oh, yo, from him. He went straight, and his brother's like, "What? Why
I
you?"
I Alicent was nervous in that scene, like, don't say me, don't say me, don't
Yeah,
say me.
I thought that was it because if because I think you're right. He was about to say his mom, and she was so scared because I think in that moment, if if she would have stabbed the prince, if she would have stabbed Rhaenyra and wounded her or mortally killed, I think the queen would have been taken and he would have had her killed. I think she would have been sentenced to death right there on the spot. It would have been a bad Civil War type of situation, but ultimately, she knew the mistake that she made by drawing that knife.
We're talking about Sirius here. He loves Ray Ray. I don't think he would have done that.
His he's already suffered the loss of his wife and firstborn son. He made the
Oh,
decision to make his daughter the heir, to correct the mistake of overlooking her, to have his, and then he yelled at his current hand when he first fired him. He realized that you made me fall in love with your daughter. That was a calculated move. Now, for that calculated move to kill my heir, I'm sorry. I feel like she would have been killed. But no, you got excited about something. What's up?
how about Viserys going to bed and saying good night, Emma?
I didn't get that.
Right,
What was the significance?
because that's his first wife.
Oh yeah, he's slipping.
If I've gotten in trouble for wrong girling a girl before, so for
Yeah.
that I was like, ooh, no, he did not just wrong girl the queen.
And that's what, and with all that tension, and with them seeing the queen finally letting the mask slip, like right now, boom, now they can see you for what you really are. I, I, I gave you a chance to make to go back to when we were friends and make nice, but this paranoia that when I become the heir, when I become the queen, and sit on the throne, that I'm just gonna. She's ultimately scared that Ray Ray is gonna kill her kids because she's afraid that they're gonna have a more legitimate claim to the throne. So it's this paranoia thing. Ray thinks that the queen's gonna kill her kids for being bastards. The queen thinks that Ray's gonna kill her kids for having a more legitimate claim to the throne. And they're at this standstill. They're at this stalemate. One side just assumes that the other side's gonna do something, which they might not. But now that all of this has happened, it's definitely happening now. I like if it wasn't gonna happen last week, I think after this week, with the second one side gets a strong enough hand, they're gonna kill the kids on the other side. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. It's
We
definitely gonna happen.
we have a couple minutes to talk about the Lanor thing.
Go for it.
right? Well, well, how does it begin? Um, who sends for Carl? Oh, Damon and Ray have the talk on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and they decide that they'll be strongest by
If they get,
having their blood, by being together, making a
yeah,
blood.
yeah, right here, yeah. And they,
The
yeah,
only,
they finally, yeah, they have that little talk with. First, she has that talk with her husband, right? And or did
yeah.
no, or does they have that talk on the beach first? I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And first that you notice that conversation got a little more awkward at first. First they kind of reminisced about how yeah, me and my husband have this understanding, but I don't get my pleasures from it. She goes back to that like almost that recall of when, hey uncle, remember when you took me to that whorehouse? That was the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. Let's go. I kind of felt like they were kind of cringing back on that kind of a little hint, like because she asked him like how was things with your wife and stuff? Did you love her and stuff? Like, she was all right.
Yeah. But then again, she did say, I don't know your life.
Yeah.
So,
They talked a little bit about how when she first became the heir, at first it seemed like they were going to be at each other's throats. Now it's like they can't keep their hands off each other.
yeah.
It's
Oh, she's definitely in love with him.
yeah, and either he's using that to his advantage ultimately, or he loves her too, or both. Obviously, he's fascinated with her more than any other person that he's ever been with. It's even his own wife. And that awkwardness, though, that first when it was touching with their kids, because after watching this episode, I spent about 10 minutes trying to figure out the relationship between her kids and his kids. So Uncle Daddy over there, and it's like, so what are their cousins? Like, are they cousins twice removed? What like they're and the fact that her kids are half blood, so they're really loosely related to his daughters. So it's like they could even get married and wouldn't even be that cringy because there's the very much a little sliver of a blood tie there in comparison to all the other incest that's going on. So it's so weird. But now they're going to become now they're siblings. Now they're stepbrothers and sisters now.
Yeah,
So what's
for
going
what
to
it's worth,
happen?
the next kid will definitely have silver hair, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, she locked that in. So I'm wondering that bond that they had with that fight against what's his name, Amon.
Yeah.
That they should now have a strong brother sister bond. Those two, and when we have the time jump, everybody's going to be older. So we're sticking with the same actors. We're not going to have a new cast for the princess and Damon and them. We're not gonna, they're still going to stay the same. So we're going to time jump again in the next week's episode by like what, maybe 5 years, 5 years, something like
Um
that.
I I think 5 years, or I could have sworn it said 8, and then this is supposed to be our last time jump where this is going to be the
This is it. Okay, and so and it looked from those trailers, it looked like a little Joffrey wannabe. Like he's definitely like he's found his strength. He's found his identity. Like this is who I'm gonna be. I'm a badass now.
Oh, the
I'm
guy
going
with
for it.
that?
Yeah, with the eye patch. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, he is like another Damon. He's a badass.
yeah.
He's a mad Targaryen for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. So it's gonna be interesting seeing what how he's gonna pick apart his cousins, even his brother, even his older brother didn't really have his back all that much and picked on him too. So shit, he might go after his brother as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna expect that.
I want to know why he says nephews in the next episode. Like,
Who?
what kind of the guy Damon with the eye patch? He's like nephew. Like, who would be his nephews?
His nephews is
Does Aegon have kids, or does Helena have kids? Like,
look. We're gonna have to do a separate episode about this family tree because that is the most confusing thing. I feel like I have to have the pictures. I have to have their pic and not a family tree with the pictures of the book characters. I need the actors in this because this is the only reference I know of. I need to make a flow chart because I
I,
can't keep up with these kids.
I have so many family trees on just these kids. Not even like
And
the
but everybody's dying so fast that I can't even keep up with the tree. The branches keep getting cut off.
yeah, I have them crossed out, and then like I try to make them in order. I'm like, no, Damon needs to go here because of Ray,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh nope, I got to remake
Oh,
it.
yeah. Now you're my uncle stepdaddy now. Okay, what's no? I should have that. That's on the soundboard. The uncle stepdaddy,
And then cousin husband,
cousin
and then
husband. Yeah. Uh, uh, second cousin husband. Now, I mean, it's weird. Like my uh, now that he's married to his niece for the second time. First, he married his niece on his sister's side. Now he married his niece on his brother's side.
I forgot Uncle Grandpa. Got to put him.
Yeah, yeah. This dude has a type, and it's nieces. That's weird. So, guys, yeah. So, and this time I did. I watched the recap after the show, and so I was able to. I remember not to turn it off afterwards. This was by far the most interesting episode, and it's just getting better and better and better. I know everybody else, all of our friends, Tabs and all that we talked to, everybody was cringed out and about it, but
Yeah.
I thought it was, even though it was cringy, I knew it was going to happen. I thought that it was a nice moment, that a power play moment with them when them two got together. So it's because before I go, she said it in that moment, even though they assume, because of course we forgot to mention the only reason why she's able to marry her uncle is because she fakes the death of her husband. And they had that talk. Did you see the end? The very at first I thought she killed him, that she had him killed as well. But at the very end, that escape on the boat, the guy who took the hoodie off, that was her husband. He shaved his head. Did you miss that?
Did
That was
Lanor's live?
He's alive. That was him. Unless correct me in the live chat if I'm wrong, but that was him. They fake. I'm like, who did they burn? Who was that? Because that was it. That was because Damon's wife, she died by fire, and the only other child that they had was their oldest son. Right? They only had 2 children. Correct?
No, there's 3. Ray has 3 kids.
Who? What? 2 sons and a daughter?
No, 3 boys, because baby Joffrey.
No. Okay. No. Okay. So last week, one of the woman who died at childbirth, she killed herself by lighting herself on fire.
Yeah.
Then this week, her brother gets killed from that, what assumed by that fight, and then got kicked in the fireplace.
Yeah.
Do they have any other children?
No, just the 2 girls.
Okay, so then he's alive, because the person that I saw in the boat at the very end who took the hoodie off his head was him. He faked it because that made that conversation between him and Ray Ray make more sense about being free and doing what's right for the children.
There was a 3rd guy. Oh no, the 3rd guy gets the King's Guard. I was like, there was a 3rd guy in the fight with them.
Yeah, no, he went to call for help. The guy, the guy that attacked the prince. Yeah, he was at first it looked like he was just escaping so he can go into that island that Damon was talking about to get away, because it's not about what your name or what you did, it's about how much money you got. And I thought, oh, okay, this is him escaping before he gets caught for killing the prince. But then the other guy comes up and shows up and jumps in the boat with him, and he takes the hoodie off, and it's the prince with his shaved head. So they're running. I thought that was because I was like, why is he fighting him? Why is he getting him? I thought that was also his lover too, right? His new lover. I thought that was. So I was like, how did you easily convince your lover to attack the prince? Because that was the plan. That's the conversation that Ray Ray was and him were really having. He needing to be removed. I think he was going along with the idea to keep our boys safe. You marrying your uncle is the most powerful play and position. I can't keep them safe. So
that makes sense.
Move me out of the way. I'll fake my death. I'll go away. You marry your uncle, keep the boys safe, and then he'll live off happily ever after, whatever island they're about to go to. What were those old the Blue Oyster from the Police Academy movies? I don't know if you get that reference. You remember that? Do you remember the Police Academy movies?
I
When they would go into
I
that
watched
bar, they would
them.
always go into that gay bar, and that music would play. It's just an inside joke, but yeah, that's what I imagine. That they were escaping, and he was going to an island or a place where he can live his life and be safe and live his life the way he wants to live it. But yeah, I think yeah, he's alive. That was him. If I'm not, unless I'm crazy, that was him. But I'm sure you're gonna go back and watch that scene now.
You know I am. You know I am. I'm gonna text.
I was able to enlighten you on something for a change on it. Something that you've overlooked. Okay, cool.
Tick
But
for tack.
all right. Well, guys, we went like 10 or 11 minutes overtime on this. That wasn't bad. We like talking about this stuff. Guys, let us know what you guys thought about the episode Driftmark. Was it too dark? Was it too cringy? Was it all of the above? Was it not cringy enough? Was there more Uncle Daddy-ness that you wanted or needed or just didn't need to see it all at all? What do you think about the whole, I don't care that this was your dead mom's dragon. It's mine now, okay? Like that whole power play. All of this whole thing, the delusion from the king, the madness that's now festering with the queen. But I think her dad's going to keep her in check now. He was proud of her. Now I see that you're willing to win this game. So I think it's going to go back to her being a little chill. But I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it. Any final thoughts from you, Nixon?
I don't think we're gonna be seeing much of the king.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised he lasted that time jump. But
Yes, that
before
that
we
part.
go, I know you're going to be on vacation pretty soon. But before you go, can let everybody know where they can find you.
On TikTok, you can find me as NixonLove08, and on Instagram, you can find me as Nixon.Bastidas, Bastidas, 86.
And guys, if you want to reach out to me, you can do that on your own time. I don't want to talk to you. No, you can either reach out to me at T3 Medias and send me your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your suggestions of things that you want us to talk about here. Reach out to me personally, Chris W. Fagan, on all the social medias and stuff. I had a good time, as always, talking with Nixon. So for me, myself, and our navigator here, we're going to bid you a fine Monday. Have a good one. Be good. Take care of yourself, your mental health at all time, and just don't get into big brawls with your cousins, because we don't. It gets real bad. Like, keep those family reunions civil, guys. Keep the kids under control.